Hi, Stitchy friends. It's Kara, the Granite State Stitcher, both here on YouTube and on Instagram. And this is my little corner of Flosstube where I talk about my cross stitching and other crafty endeavors from time to time. So if you just found me and are new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping and tuning in. I hope that you like what you see and that I somehow inspire you in your cross stitch journey. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. So right now we are under tornado watch and we have thunderstorms rolling in tonight, and they're supposed to last all throughout the evening. So I'm trying to get this video and my regular floss tube video posted before I end up with 4 dogs sitting in my lap. So this is basically going to be a recap of Mira May and Patriotic Mania, since I haven't gotten back with you to close out the month of May. So this will just be a review on what I worked on, and some of this I will continue to work on in my regular rotation. So let's get started with Mira May first. I had planned to start a new Mirabilia project every week for the month of May. And my plans got askewed just a little bit because of fabric choices that I had made and then decided to change because, I wanted something different. Um, so I had planned to do Angel of the New Dawn, Adia the Woodland Fairy, Lady of the Flag, and the Silver Dragonfly. And I did not end up starting Adia. And that's okay. She's all kitted. And I will just pull her out at some other point and give her a start. So the first one that I worked on for May was Angel of the New Dawn. And here is this pattern. She's gorgeous. And I had originally had her kitted up with the called for fabric, um, which was 32 count Belfast blue ice linen. And I actually had needle in hand, all threaded, ready to put in those first stitches. And then it just dawned on me, no pun intended, that she should be stitched on something, a color that more represents dawn. And, like a pinky, orangish, purplish, rose colored type of fabric. So as it so happened, I did have a piece of fabric in my stash. And hold on just for a second so I can tell you what this is. It is a 28 count Jobelin called Bittersweet Light. And it was just what I was looking for. You probably can't see it too well here, but it is an orange. It does have orange and pinkish hues to it, which I thought was perfect. And I have not cut this down. It's ginormous. It's a full yard, I believe. Um, so here is the start that I got on Angel of the New Dawn. So I started at the top where the arch is. So right up here on the pattern. And I wasn't going in order of the blocks on the pattern. I like to stitch more color. So like I will take a strand of floss and I will go across and stitch all the blocks that are of that color. And of course I did that, and as it so happened, I miscounted, and when I got down to a certain row, I was actually off by a whole row because I had not counted correctly when I had gone across or when I was, you know, confetti stitching my colors. And I was going to try to budget, and then I said, no, it's a Mira. I'm going to frog it all out and redo it. Thankfully, it wasn't too much. Um, but so that happened. And that's okay. At least now I know that it's all correct and I don't have to worry about keeping track of where it was fudged and if I had to, make other alterations for other rows going forward. So that was that. Then the next project I started was Lady of the Flag. And if you saw my previous Mira video, the last video I did, you know that I had that issue with the material, that I had gotten this as a kit off eBay and it came fully kitted with the material. The person that had previously owned this had started it, and I did not really like the fabric that she had started it on. It's a nice piece of fabric, but I think it was the Declaration of Independence rather than the Bill of Rights or the Constitution. And it was more yellowy. So, and you history buffs, please correct me if I'm wrong. And I am going to use that, I think, for a different memorabilia piece, which I'll talk about in a future video. So I did order the called for patriotic fabric. Actually, this is the Declaration of Independence, right? We the people. Maybe the other one is too, but it's just a different section. So I did order this from Primitive Hair. And I got a start. I started up at the top of the flag. So here is the top of the staff. And this part from here down all the way over here is all Krynic. I don't know if you can tell that. Yeah, there you go. That's all Krynic. And first time I believe that I've ever stitched with Krynic. And it wasn't too bad. You do hear the horror stories of Krynic, and I don't know if it depends on if it's a number 4 braid or a number 8, but it wasn't too bad. I didn't have any problems with it, and I'm happy with the way that it's stitched. So that is Lady of the Flag, and I will continue to keep both this one, and Angel of the New Dawn in my rotation. And then the third one that I started was the Silver Dragonfly. And I had put this out on Instagram. I had 3 fabric choices that I was trying to decide between to use for this. And I had put it out on Instagram as a poll, see which fabric I should use. And I ended up using a 32 count raw linen by Witchelt. Oops, you don't need to see that floss. And here is the start I got on this one. Just the head. There you go. So I just got the head started and a little bit of, I guess I will call them shoulders maybe, where the wings go down to the wings. So, and I will keep this one in my rotation too. So those were my 3 Mirabilia starts for May. And now for Maynia. This year I decided to do Maynia with a theme. Last year I didn't really have a set organization to my Maynia. In fact, I think I only did a couple projects, a couple things. And the year before that, I don't think I did anything. So this year I decided to, because I'm trying to get my patriotic wall established, even though, of course, none of these are done and they won't be done in the near future, knowing me. But at least I have starts in them and I can pull them out at any time. And I will continue to stitch on these during the month of July. I was debating whether or not I wanted to do Christmas in July. And then I was thinking, well, maybe I'll do the first half of July as a patriotic, since the 4th is at the, beginning of July, and then I'll do the last part of July as Christmas. And I just decided to stick with these. The Christmas stitching bug hasn't really bitten me, so I will continue to work on these and hopefully get some progress. Now, as you saw in my previous video concerning Maynia, I had just put 31 patriotic patterns on a spinning wheel, and whether they were already whips that I had in progress, which a couple of them were, and they did get pulled, or if they were going to be new starts. So I will show you all 31 wheel spins or projects that were chosen by the wheel. 9 of them did not get started, but I still wanted to show them to you anyway because they were chosen as part of Maynia, and I will just pull them out and stitch on them in July. So, wheel spin number 1, and I'm so happy that this one was spun. This is Mystic Stitch Ink, Home of the Brave, and this is a full coverage. And this is going to be gorgeous when it's done. And this is being stitched on 18 count white Aida with all the called for DMC. And it doesn't look like much, but this was actually 3 hours worth of work. A lot of confetti stitching in this, as you can imagine, since it is a full coverage piece. And that's what I got done. You can tell it's definitely going to be camouflage. And there is white stitching in here. You can see it when I turn it at an angle. So there is more stitches in there than it seems to be, but so yeah, that's what I got done on this one, Home of the Brave. And I think I have some other full coverage patterns by Mystic Stitch too. I do like that company. So that is number 1 on the wheel. Number 2 was, I'm sorry, I shouldn't zip these up, should I? I have them all unzipped, but I shouldn't zip them so that you don't have to listen to that. Okay, so number 2 was 4th of July Rules by Primrose Cottage. Here's the pattern for that. So cute. I know this came out a couple years ago, I believe. So I'm sure you've all seen it. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. 2024. I guess I've just seen people already stitching it. And this is done on a piece of 20 count cork linen by Zweigart. And I got the 4 done. Yay. It almost looks like a uniform of the Boston Red Sox because it has the 4 and it's outlined by the white, although theirs would be outlined by the navy blue. But 4th of July rules by Primrose. Number 3, I have them all written down in my little project book. Number 3 is God Bless America Sampler by Artful Offerings. I'd actually given this away on one of my previous videos as a giveaway. Because typical me, I had bought 2 patterns. And this is being stitched on 25 count Silver Moon Lugana with all the called for Weeks Dye Works and DMC. And ooh, got a massive start on this one, folks. Look at that flagpole. A start is a start, right? And like I said, May was just such a busy month for me. Such a busy month. Between going to 2 retreats and Memorial Day weekend, going out to Ohio for wedding reception planning for my daughter. She's getting married in the fall out in Montana at Glacier National Park. And then the reception is going to be in Ohio in October. So a lot of planning going into this wedding. All right, so number 4 on the wheel is Americano by Rosewood Manor. Remember, I had a lot of Rosewood Manors patterns on my wheel. And this is being stitched on 32 count antique white Belfast. And this is where I got on this one. Started the square at the top. I love the colors on this one. They're so bright. So bright. And look at this bag. This is by Lake Wind Studio. Here's the back. And then look at the front. Isn't that gorgeous? And I've seen a lot of people, or I've seen on a lot of people's floss tubes, that they've been having problems with this vinyl, the plastic vinyl front. And I have found that if you take your pattern out of the plastic that it's in, you can keep the plastic in your bag so that you have it to put the pattern back in if you're going to keep the pattern or give it away. But the cardstock, or if you photocopy your pattern, won't stick to the vinyl. So I've been making sure to take, if they are in the plastic sleeve, to take them out. Okay, next one on the wheel is, and I don't know if I mentioned that that's all the called for DMC. Next one is Flag Day Pincushion by Shepherd's Bush. And this had originally been advertised as a pattern to stitch, and it came with a little tin that it went on. And when I had ordered this from Shepherd's Bush, I had ordered the tin, and by the time they got my order or had processed my order, they had sold out of the tin. So they contacted me, asked me if I still wanted it, and I said yes, because it's a kit. If they sold out of the tin, oh well. So here is what it looks like. Flag Day Pin Keep. And I got the grassy knoll done at the bottom. Just this little section down here. And that is being stitched all with Weeks Dye Works. And next is Freedom. Oh, love this. Freedom by Rosewood Manor, another Rosewood Manor. Whoops, sorry, this one's not unzipped. Okay. Freedom by Rosewood Manor. And this basically just calls for two colors. Weeks Dye Works Merlot and Fathom. So that's the red and the blue. And this is being stitched on the called for fabric, which is 32 count Murky by Picture This Plus. And I was questioning whether or not I really wanted to stitch on this fabric, but trust the process, people. Trust the process. Look at that. Isn't that fantabulous? Oh my goodness. That red just pops off this fabric. And I can't wait to stitch the rest of it. And there's something about this fabric. It looks like it's battle worn. I think that's a good description for it, battle worn. I know that this is used for a lot of Halloween pieces, but for this piece, it's not Halloweenish, it's battle worn. So that is Freedom by Rosewood Manor. Next we have the Mini Firecracker Sampler by the Nutmeg Needle. And here's that pattern. There you go, there's no glare on that. Now, the Nutmeg Needle. Now this pattern is from 1995, okay? And evidently the Nutmeg Needle used to have its own line of floss because the floss it calls for is needles floss. And I just basically had to match up the equivalent DMC or weeks. It does call for 3 DMCs, which I had. And then, I don't know if you can tell, like, look at the B. See how that looks like it's variegated in the lettering? I don't know if they had variegated floss back in 1995 or if that's just a blend of 2 floss colors or they just confetti stitched it in 2 different colors. But I'm substituting 2 weeks there for anyone who may be interested. Just so that I get the variegation, I am using Cayenne for the red. Oops. And then I am using Deep Sea for the blue. just so that it will add variegation to those letters. Again, don't have needles thread, so this will be the next best thing. And that is the mini firecracker sampler. Oh, did I even show you what I had done on it? No. All right, so I had started the A. So this is the bottom part of the A. And that's all I got done because I had to wait for the cayenne to come in. I had to order it. So yeah, that's the mini firecracker sampler. Next, oh, wait till you see this one. Wait till you see this one. Okay, Colors of Freedom by Stony Creek. And this one is going to be challenging. Very, very challenging. So not only is it stitched on navy blue Aida, the whole thing is stitched in Kryneck. So I am doing this one right here, Air Force, and this lettering is all Kryneck, and this whole thing is Kryneck. The only thing that's DMC is the red outline. That's it. So my second pattern that I pulled for May that has Kryneck in it. But I'll tell you something. I have not had any problem using this Kryneck. And I think the key is to keep it taut while you're stitching with it. So I always make sure that I have a finger, whether it's on the back of the material or the front of the material, holding on to that thread. Once it's pulled through and it's pulled through tight, then I grab it. And then while I'm making the stitch to go back in or back out, I'm still holding that piece of thread taut until it gets pulled through again. And then, keep repeating the process. And it has been working for me. I haven't had, and I also used a larger needle. I had heard somebody else suggest that. It may have been either Samantha, the Yugo Stitcher, or Erica, Fibers and Floss Canada, because they do a lot of Mirabilia pieces and they stitch a lot with Kryneck. And I think it was one of them that made the suggestion to use a larger head needle, which opens up the hole wider. So as you're pulling the Kryneck through, it's not fraying or breaking, because that can happen with the Kryneck. But I have not, so I did that. I think I'm using a 22 needle on this. It's a 14 count navy blue Aida. So I think I'm using a 22 needle to get that larger head, and I haven't had any problems with it. So here's my start. The U and the part of the S, and that's gold Kryneck. You probably can't tell, but it looks really cool. And I am looking forward. I'm having more problems dealing with the dark navy Aida and seeing the holes than I am working with the Kryneck. So this may be a slow process in stitching this one, but I'm going to love it when it's done. I know I am. Okay, so the next spin of the wheel was Founding Promises by Silver Creek. And here is this pattern. I know you've all seen this. I love Silver Creek. I love her work. And this is being stitched on 18 count parchment Aida. And I do not have a whopping start on this one, just the flagpole. Okay, so mark that down. We have 2 flagpole starts in this May recap and a staff. Oh, I guess we can count the Mirabilia too, because that's a flagpole too that she's carrying. So three flagpole starts for May. I bet no one else has that. Okay, and that's using all the call for DMC. No alterations on that. The next one, it's not really patriotic, but it does have patriotic stuff on it. It is July by the Cricket Collection, their monthly series that came out. And I have quite a few of these. I really should collect the rest of them so I have a full series and stitch them. Let me see if there's a copyright date on these, because these came out a while ago. I don't see one. Oh, 2014. All right, so yeah, 10 years. I thought they were older than that, but no. All right, so July. And this one I am stitching on 32 count splash mint with white dots, Lugana. And it is so cute. So cute. Where's my start? Oh, there it is. Yep, all my floss in here. So number one, look at that fabric. I hope it's showing up as a mint green. Oh, that's getting washed out, but you can tell it's mint green with the white polka dots. Look at my cute needle minder. And I got the hat done, the start of the hat for Uncle Sam. So that's cute. That's cute. This is going to be such a cute pattern to stitch. I love the Cricket collection anyway. I was stitching her back in the 80s. All those 80s style patterns. So Vicki Hastings has been around for quite a while. Okay, so that is the first batch. Now I'm going to pause you while I grab the second batch. Okay, I'm back. All right, and I hope the stack does not fall over. So next we have Liberty Hill Farm by Summerhouse Stitchworks. And here is what this pattern looks like. And I am doing this drum right here. I would like to do both of them eventually, but I started out with the one that has the house on them. You can actually stitch these together as one long band too, which maybe I'll do that someday. But I am stitching this on 32 count Vintage Stormy Night Lugana with all the called for DMC colors. And yes, there's my thread. And here is the start on that. And I really like how this color is popping off this fabric. Really pretty. So as you can see, I started the top row here on the drum. So this will be my first drum. And it looks like the stitching instructions are, pretty simple to follow. So we shall see. Whoops, I have to put that piece of fabric back in there. On my hanging fabrics. Next we have A Day for Freedom. Let me unzip this down here. And this is by Stitches by Ethel. Oh, there you go. Hopefully that's not a lot of glare. And isn't this adorable? I mean, this I got at the Library Stitches Retreat in April, and all of her patterns, like she had, they're all crows. So they had crow with a pumpkin for Halloween, um, a crow with something else, and they always have the little mouse in them too. So her patterns are adorable. And this is being stitched on 28 count lamb's wool Jobelan with all the called for DMC and Classic Colorworks. And I started in the bottom left-hand corner of the pattern. I started with the mouse. So here's my start. Oops. And that is right down here in the corner. So get here, his tail, and that's the cardinal sitting on his tail. So, and I'm thinking that this one should stitch up pretty quickly. So we'll see. Hopefully it will. Ooh, don't fall over. Next we have Lincoln's Eagle. Oh my gosh, I am so in love with this one. So in love with this one. It's getting pretty dark out there. So this is by Teresa Kogert, Lincoln's Eagle. And I have not seen too many people stitching this. If you have stitched this, leave me a comment down below and let me know, because I have not seen too many people stitching this, if anyone, to be honest. What's the copyright date on this? 2020. So it's not an old pattern. Maybe I just, have missed seeing posts about this being stitched, but this was the one that I had the perfect shade, the perfect piece of fabric to stitch this on. And this is 18 count Ada Curry. And it is just the most gorgeous yellow color. The called for color was straw, 40 count straw. So on 40 count, this wouldn't have been very, very large. This is 18 count that I'm doing mine on. And this is where I got. You know me, I'm a border person first, when at all possible. I'm the exact opposite of Kathy from Two Needles Pulling Thread, because she hates doing borders. But I love that. I love the color of that border on this. This is called Rum Raisin by Weeks, and it just, it is just so gorgeous. So gorgeous. And this lives in another Lake Wind Studio bag. Look at that. In the middle is this fabric. Isn't that gorgeous? Like Lake Wind Studio, I have to say, I do like their bags. They do a good job. And they also come with these notion pouches, which are made the same exact way. And I love the notion pouches. Helps keep things organized in the bag. So that is Lincoln's Eagle. And next we have Liberty Games by Erica Michaels. I'm sure that Pam from Just Keep Stitching probably has this one stitched, since it is a board game. Here is the pattern. Liberty Games by Erica Michaels, and I am doing the flat. I'm not going to do the drum, at least not now. So I'm doing the board. And this is being stitched on 28 count mushroom lagana with all the called for DMC and Weeks Dye Works. And there's my thread. And I just started up at the left-hand corner and got started with the words in Congress. Uh-oh, here comes the thunder. I don't know if you can hear it. I guess I gotta hurry up and get this wrapped up because like I said, once that thunder really starts getting loud, I'm gonna have these dogs clinging to me. Poor things, poor animals during thunderstorms. All right, next is American Flag Quilt Sampler. Now this is one of the ones that I did not get started, but I still wanted to show you the pattern since it was spun up on the wheel. And this is by Rosewood Manor, of course. And there you go. And look at those motifs, those quilt motifs. And look at how you can even do like little individual design motifs. So adorable. So adorable. That's going to be a lot of work. But it'll be gorgeous in the end. Next, we have, and that is going to be stitched on 28 count light mocha Cassia linen with all the called for DMC. And next we have America by Bobby G Designs. This is a full coverage. Gorgeous. And if you watch Terry and Jamie, the Cornhusker State Stitchers, they have both done this. Terry has finished hers. I don't believe Jamie has finished hers yet. But they have both worked on this one. And this is being stitched on 16 count white chocolate Ada. Oh, I still have my needles in there. I was stitching across the top to get the border done and get my stitch count in. So here we go. You get to see my border with all my counting needles in there. Yay. But hey, that's what we have to do, right? When we stitch the border first. So that border across the top is finished. Here's my selvage. So I'm pretty proud of myself. I did center it correctly. And now I'll just go down the sides. So that is America by Bobby G Designs. Next is Silver Creek Samplers, Seeds of Freedom. This was another one that I did not actually get started, but it was called for, it did come up on the wheel, and you know me, if I'm not doing the border, I'm trying to start from the top left 9 times out of 10. And I did not have this green color, or whatever this color was for the tree. Is it hickory sticks? But anyway, here is the pattern. I know you've seen people stitching this. Okay, that's Seeds of Freedom. So I'm anxious to get a start in on that one. Next is, oh, here comes the rain. Grand Old Flag. This one is really, really pretty. There they go running. Look, there goes Maddie down the hallway. Next you'll see Lily. Oh, there goes Lily. She just turned around to look. There she goes. They're all running to their hiding place, which is under my desk in the other room. So now we have Grand Old Flag. Again by, you know who, Rosewood Manor. And this is being stitched on 36 count Edinburgh linen caramel macchiato or macchiato. I think it's macchiato, right? Macchiato by Fibers on a Whim. And ooh, the colors are going to pop on this. Here's my new needle minder that I got from my friend Sarah, the Northwood Stitcher. She is such a crafty person. And here is the start on this. Now, the only thing I don't like about this, look at those stars. Do you notice these stars? The first two are a different color than this one. And it's supposed to be like that because the floss is linen, Weeks Dye Works linen, which is a variegated floss, but it looks like they were done with, I don't know. I don't know, it just looks weird to me. It looks like they were done with two different types of floss because it's like this star is all solid white and the first two have that tinge of variegation to it. So I'm sure it will look fine once all the other stars are in there, but it just kind of looks strange to me. I'll get over it. Okay, then we have Patriotic Row. Whoops, that's not Patriotic Row. Patriotic Row by Bent Creek. Now this one also did not get started, but I just wanted to show it to you. Let me pull it out of the plastic. Since it was called for on the wheel. I'm sure you've all seen this before. It's going to be a cute little stitch. And this is going to be stitched on 32 count natural linen. I don't know if that's the called for. It almost looks like a greenish color in the picture. Yep, here comes the thunder. Let's see what the called for is. Oh, it is natural linen. Interesting. It does look like a different color in the picture. But then again, the pictures never look true to form once they're stitched, do they? I know, guys. I know. Now they're back out here by my feet. Next one is July 4th. And you have 3 guesses as to who the designer is. Oh, Rosewood Manor. This is going to be gorgeous. This is going to be gorgeous. And of course you can stitch, let me cover up this pattern. You can stitch the motifs separately if you want. And this I am stitching on 32 count dirty linen Belfast with all the called for DMC, and it's stunning. I love it. I love it. Whoops, there goes my floss. Oh, it's so nice. So nice. And here we go. Look at that. Aren't those cute? And this pattern has a lot of specialty stitches. Those are eyelets. So a lot of specialty stitches. They're not, let's see, what kind are they called? Algerian eyelets. They're large Algerian eyelets. All right. And then speaking of patterns that have a lot of specialty stitches, the next one is Free and Brave by the Drawn Thread. And if any of you have ever stitched the Drawn Thread, their patterns are full of specialty stitches. Like Just Nan, that's another designer that always has a ton of specialty stitches. So here's the pattern. Cute. Cute, cute. And the pattern's not that large, but because of the specialty stitches, that's what will take me a long time. And this is, I am stitching on 25 count pewter Lagana. And wait till you see this. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Gorgeous, gorgeous. I think I got something screwed up with the first row there. But I will take a look at that. And that will be, this whole thing is going to, once this is done, this is going to be gorgeous. All those flowers are stitched like that with that satin stitch type stitch. I don't know what the actual name of it is called. Let me look. Oh, they just call it a large sprat's head heart. Large sprat's head heart. Sprat's head. Haven't heard of that. Okay, only a few left, I promise. Next we have Happy Independence Day. By Primrose Cottage. Hold please, I have to find it. Sorry about that. I didn't have that pile as organized as I thought I did. Okay. Happy Independence Day by Primrose Cottage. One that I did not get a chance to start, but I wanted to show you the pattern since it came up on the wheel. And that will definitely get started in July. I mean, this should be a quick stitch, says the person who never finishes anything. That's that F word. The F word. Next is Whale Watch. Now, I have no excuse not to get this one done. This is by Chessie and me. Look at that whale. How cute is that? I mean, look at the size of the piece of fabric. It's the span of my index finger and my thumb. Adorable. That is the cutest little whale I've ever seen. So that's definitely going to get done. Then we have a new constellation, whoops, by Plum Street. Oops, sorry for the glare. I know you've probably all seen this. Is, I think Pam from Just Keep Stitching may have just finished this, I think. This is being stitched on 32 count. Ooh, you hear that thunder? This is being stitched on 32 count vintage wood Lugana. And oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And I did not get a big start on this, unfortunately. I am looking forward to stitching this though. But I started the border, and look at that red. It's more like a maroon, but look at that on this fabric. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love this fabric. Love, love, love it. And that is a mixture of DMC, Weeks Dye Works, and Classic Colorworks. But love this pattern, love this fabric, love everything about this stitch. And I do not have a reason for not having more done on that. Okay, next we had George and Martha get spun up. And I did not start these. These are kits that came from the Mount Vernon Museum shop. And we have George and Martha. I know, won't these look perfect? You know, in those round oval wooden frames that you see, the dark wood. I have the perfect spot to hang these. I'll hang them one on top of each other, and they will look gorgeous. I was thinking about maybe doing them facing each other, but since they're all kitted up, they have, you know, I mean, I could change out the fabric, but we'll see. I don't even know what size fabric this is. It's probably, it looks like maybe a 16 or 18 count Aida. Well, I think it will look fine just having them stitched separately when the time comes. So good old George and Martha. Then we have America by Little House Needleworks. And again, this is such a cute little stitch. Big white house with a big old flag. Perfect. And this I am going to stitch on 18 count Dirty Aida. Which I don't know what the called for is, 16 count natural Heatherfield. So I just did a fabric toss. I can't wait to see how much time, you know, July, oh, there goes some lightning. July is going to be definitely less hectic for me than May and June were, you know, because between both those months I had 4 retreats, went to Ohio twice, you know, one of those retreats was StitchCon. So I am looking forward to actually having some home time. Next one is One Nation by Bygone Stitches. Now, I went to a retreat yesterday. I went up to Maine for the Stitch Maine retreat. It was just a day-long retreat. And, oh, I got this at the Silver Needle. And somebody was working on this. up in Augusta. And this thing is huge. It is huge. And I did not realize how large this was going to be. And when I saw hers, I was like, oh my gosh, that's going to take up the whole wall. And I'm going to be stitching this on, yeah, it's a half yard, 32 count dark cobblestone Lugana, which I am pretty sure is the called for. No, I take that back. 32 count. The called for is 28 count Cashel Ale linen. So it'll be a little bit smaller, but on the called for 28 count, this is 2.5 feet by 1.5 feet. No, I'm sorry, 2.5 feet by 2 feet. So it's large. It is large. So I hope to shrink that down a little bit by stitching it on a 32 count. And I gotta show you this. Now look at this bag. Isn't that gorgeous? Vintage. And who did I get this spot from? There's no label on it. But look at the needle minder I found to go with it. Isn't that perfect? Yeah. Perfect. So that's One Nation. Then we have Across the Sea by Chessie and Me, which is another one that I did not actually start, but it was called. Let me take it out of the plastic. Love this. Love this. I love the flags going down the side. I love the eagle at the top. I love the houses. I love the ship in the middle. This is an actual photograph. I didn't realize that. I love the quilt motif patterns up at the top. Love it. So I'm anxious to start that one. And that one I am going to stitch on. Ooh, I don't have, oh yeah, I do. It's called for Weeks Dye Works threads, and I'm stitching it on 36 count parchment. So that will look cool. Then we have, then the next one that was called was Old Glory. Okay, 3 guesses. One guess. Which designer? Rosewood Manor. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, Old Glory. Look at that. Look at that. And every time you buy this pattern, there is a donation made to the Wounded Warriors Project. This is from 2012. Gorgeous. And that's going to be stitched with all the called for DMC. And it will be stitched on, oh, let you see this. This is going to be stitched on 32 count Heroic Belfast linen. Now, hopefully you can see the modeling in this if I hold it up. Can you see that? I'll see if I can fold it. Can you see the blue? No, you can't. There's blues and there's reds. Maybe on this side. I can see it on this side better. See the reds and the blues and the reds over here. So that's going to look awesome. Heroic fabric with that modeling. called for? It is by Picture This Plus, Heroic. That's going to be cool. Do not fall. Oh, yeah, you're going to fall. Oh, well. Then we had 2 that were already whips. They were already in my whip pile from last year. The first one being Land That I Love by Teresa Colgert. So this is my second Teresa Colgert piece that was pulled in there. And this was spun on Memorial Day weekend, and so this did not get anything else done to it, but I will show you where it is in the whip process. And this is being stitched on 36 count tin roof, and it is the top. I have a top left hand corner start, just the border. And then the second one that was spun, which was already in my whip pile, was Patriotic Quilt by, do I even need to say it? No. Rosewood Manor, Patriotic Quilt. And this is being stitched on, I know the call for fabric, which is 32 count Weeks Dye Works parchment with the called for Valdanis. I had gotten this at the Silver Needle also, so they had kitted it all up for me. Again, a top left start, and just a star, 1 star. Now, all these stars are backstitched, which is a good thing because they really blend into this fabric. All right, so those are all the projects that were on the wheel, or I should say that were spun for Patriotic Maynia. So that's it for this video. Again, thank you so much for, excuse me. I'll have to cut that part out. So thank you so much for tuning in to this video. I'm sorry it did go a little bit longer than expected, but I wanted to show you everything. I wanted to just do a recap on May, everything that had been started for Maynia, Patriotic Maynia, and Mira May. So I'm going to sign off here, reorganize, and hopefully get my next video filmed because it is starting to get dark and the thunder is definitely sounding out there. So thanks for tuning in and watching another video. I'm going to get signed off here so I can reorganize and get my next video hopefully filmed before the storm hits full force. But I do have one question for you. Has anyone seen the red, white, and blue variegated floss that is out there? I don't know who makes it. I think it's Classic Colorworks. I saw it at the Library Stitches Retreat in April, and unfortunately I was not able to buy a pack of it. But because I think it was in, well, the way it was sold at the retreat was in like a patriotic pack. It had red, white, and blue floss with the patriotic, 2 skeins of the patriotic floss in with it. But I'm just looking for the patriotic skeins. If anyone knows who makes those. Like I said, I think it's Classic Colorworks, and where I can purchase them. I did not see them on 123 Stitch. If anyone is aware of any other shops that might be selling that, please leave me a comment down below. I would like to start Patriotic Quaker by Primrose, and I really think that would look cute in that red, white, and blue variegated floss. So again, if anyone has any information at all about that, please leave me a comment down below. And thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Happy stitching. Bye.